Mahoney. I have a lot of subscribers, but people have been asking me, when are you going to do some lives? So here I am. I'm going to do a live. We're going to review the 1976 movie Rocky, starring Sylvester Stallone, Talia Shire, Burgess Meredith, uh, and Carl Weathers. Almost forgot Carl Weathers. And Burt Young. So, uh, Tony Burton's in this too, yeah. Tony Burton. So I've done this review on my old podcast called Mahoney's Massacre, Mahoney's Madhouse. That was episode 1 from last 2024 in January. But here I am, 2025 in summertime, going to review it again. And I'm going to actually do the whole Rocky series. So I chose Rocky because Rocky is such a relatable movie as far as like a feel-good story. And, there's so many movies that I made that are more hardcore, more like, what I want to say, more unrealistic, we'll call that. But Rocky is a story of a down and out boxer, fights small clubs. Doesn't have much of a life. Lives in this dingy apartment. Assume his parents are not alive anymore just by the look he gives at there's a picture of himself in the room, and I think that picture speaks volumes. Because you see how he lives his life. He's a collector. Someone that works for a mafia boss who, collects when people haven't paid back, and he's a bone breaker. So, I think when he looks in this picture of himself as a child, I think he imagined a better life. Because he looks like a clean-cut young man in the picture, and the way he looks at it is like, is this all I've accomplished in life? And like I said, he's a small-time boxer. He gets paid basically, like after all the charges of like a side man, a cut man, a locker. He gets like $40. It's not much of a living, which is why he does what he does with collecting. He makes more money with that, and he barely gets by in life. He looks like a lonely man. And, he has this crush on a girl named Adrian, played by Talia Shire, who works at a pet store and goes in every day, gives his best shot, and this girl just doesn't budge. She suffers from shyness, And Rocky, Rocky's persistent though. He wants to make this girl known that, hey, I dig you. Like, let's do something. And his friend Paulie, Paulie is the brother of Adrian, and they're complete opposites. Paulie is the rough, bad attitude. Oh, poor me. Everything should be revolved around me. And he keeps bothering Rocky for a job with Gaza, who's the crime boss. Yeah, they don't really establish that he's a crime boss, but obviously, if he's lending people money and they're not paying back, and he sends Stallone out to break your leg or your arm, whatever, then he's a bad guy. So Rocky finally finds his way in. Paulie says, "Hey, come over for Thanksgiving." Blah blah blah. What Rocky doesn't realize was Adrian never knew Rocky was coming, and that shyness gets the best of her. Paulie kicks them both out, and you actually see a very humane side of Stallone in this character. Like, this character, he built from the ground up. He wrote the script. He's the one that was trying to get people to buy the script, but everybody wanted to have someone else play Rocky, and Stallone was like, no, like, this is my baby. Stallone had done a couple movies before Rocky, but he wasn't really a household name yet. So, and the story is magnificent. When people go in to see Rocky, which I still am surprised today that people are seeing it for the first time in 2024, 2025, and they go in thinking this is a sports movie because it's about boxing. This is not a sports movie. It has sports in it, But this is a romance movie. This is a love story. This is how how to build a relationship from the ground up, and the characterization, the acting by both Stallone and Talia Shire is, I mean, they have superb chemistry together, and but then Rocky's looking for that one ticket to, like, not just be this bum as Mick, who played by beautifully by Burgess Meredith. He keeps calling him a bum because he's fighting all these street bombs, and Mick says you have the potential to be bigger than this, but you decided to be a leg breaker, collecting for a loan shark. So you can see deep down that Mick, even before Mick gets with Rocky, you can see he cares about Rocky, because he did tell him you have the potential to be bigger than you are. That relationship, starts out real rocky. You think, as a first time seer, you'd think that Mick hates Rocky, but later on you can see the development there. So the heavyweight champion of the world, Apollo Creed, played immensely, but I can't even tell you how much. This casting decision, I mean, everybody says, oh, can you imagine if someone else played this role? I can't. I mean, I can be very judgmental on casting decisions. Obviously I'm not a professional, but they could not have found a better person to play Apollo Creed than Carl Weathers. Carl Weathers plays this world champion who is full of himself. There is no doubt on this man. He just loves himself and thinks he is the greatest. It has a lot of similarities to the real champion, Muhammad Ali. I think even Ali came out on a talk show once with Stallone and said basically, like, that's my character. Creed was his character, which, I mean, I can buy into. Anyways, I'm rambling. So Apollo's next opponent, comes down with an injury, and they're trying to find another contender, and they can't find one. Either the people are too old, or people just not glamorous enough. And then Apollo goes through the record books and finds the Italian Stallion, and he says it beautifully. Sounds like a damn monster movie, and it does. Rocky Balboa, the Italian Stallion versus Apollo Creed, sounds like a monster movie. But it turns out to be like a Godzilla versus King Kong type fight, and that's the best comparison I can come up with, by the way, on such short notice. So Mick now finally comes around, because he has Rocky with this this 1 in a million shot to fight the world champion, this street bum from Philadelphia, in the ring with the greatest fighter in the world. And Rocky has to go for it, even though at first Rocky was skeptical, saying this won't be such a good fight, and I fight in little, like, basically street clubs, but you can't pass this chance up. And so he takes on the fight, and his relationship at the time with Adrian is growing and growing, and they had their first date, and they really hit it off, and him and Adrian made out, and you can see Adrian getting into it too. Like, that shyness went away as soon as Rocky laid one on her. But anyways, so Mick comes around, and Rocky's furious at first, because just like all of us, we thought Mick hated Rocky, and it was tough love, I think Mick was giving him. But he also knows that for anyone fighting the world champion, you need a manager. And at first, a lot of people who watch this for the first time, oh, he's just using him to get a big paycheck. I don't think so. I generally think that Mick loves Rocky. He saw a guy basically flushing his life down the toilet by being a leg breaker. So after Rocky gets his frustration out, they make a deal, and the montages, the workout montages are second to none. I will say that about the entire Rocky series. The montages, chef's kiss. But there's some great scenes as far as like training goes, and Rocky, all he wants. I mean, winning would be great, obviously, but all Rocky wants to do is last the 15 rounds, because no one's ever lasted with Creed. That's his goal. That's a victory for Rocky. It's just making the distance. And this is an inspirational movie of heart and will. The second half of the movie, it does turn more to the training, but there's still some amazing sentimental scenes between him and Talia Shire, who obviously is Adrian. Like I said earlier, the chemistry was fantastic between the both of them. I think the chemistry in the whole cast, even up to the smallest character, plays their role great. Like Mikey, who works for Mick, the scene when they hang up Rocky's gear in Skid Row, and someone else has Rocky's gear, and Mikey's just saying, I gotta do what I gotta do what Mickey says, right, Rock? Like, I mean, just the timing of everything is great. The cinematography is great. The music is great. I can't say enough great things, and not just about the movie, about the series. You go into each Rocky movie cheering your heart out for a fictional character. If that is not a sign of an amazing movie, I don't know what is. So, and then the fight scene comes up, and Rocky goes to the forum right before, and he has the interaction with the promoter. How the picture, my trunks are wrong. That's like a white stripe. It's supposed to be a red stripe. It was supposed to be a red stripe with white shorts. That's like a key moment, because basically the promoter tells him, well, it doesn't matter. I'm sure you're going to give him a good show. In other words, saying, you have no prayer. In shortest terms, you have no prayer. And Rocky starts to doubt himself. And he that's when he confesses to Adrian, I don't really want to win. I want to last the 15 rounds with Apollo. And through that movie, I can remember the first time I seen it, I was cheering so loud for this guy who is on the screen. Sign of a great movie is when you can invest yourself fully to a character and almost feel what they're feeling when they accomplish something. That's a sign of a great character. And I'm glad Sylvester Stallone fought for this character and said, if anybody's playing Rocky, it's me. The casting is amazing. Like I said, the music is amazing. There's nothing I can really say negatively about this movie. So with that said, and we're at 14 minutes, I'm going to try to keep this at 15 minutes. With that said, we're going to give this a big 5 stars out of 5. I mean, it's that good. So next time, I'm going to try to make this weekly. Next time, we're going to review Rocky 2. So if you guys want the review on Rocky 2, come here again. And I'll be posting it. I'll make a short video about, for those that missed it, I'll make a short video saying this episode of Mahoney Massacre is up on my live channel. So I want you guys to thumbs up, subscribe, and spread the word for me, please. We want to get the algorithms out there. You guys have been amazing to me lately, and I love you guys. So You've been wanting a live video. I gave you a live video. We're gonna have some more. So much love, peace, and go Rocky. Rocky, Rocky, Rocky. Now I just gotta remember how to shut this off. No. Does anybody know how to shut this off? You guys are probably laughing at me right now. There we go.